good. It's very interesting. So I went there a couple of months ago, as you both know, for about 5 days, and it was purely work, like no pleasure whatsoever. And I met.
What you told me.
My fiance watches this. Yeah. He's joking, Harriet. Ignore.
I think we need to give one little quick tip of advice for people who are looking to invest there, because there are a lot of cowboys, advisors, estate agents out there now all over Instagram saying, hey, come and buy this for X, Y, and Z. The yields are great, and they're just trying to sell your product, which might ultimately depreciate value very quickly.
I sometimes forget how amazing London is, how fortunate I am that I live in London. I'll go to other cities around the world and I'll be like, that was amazing. And then I come back to London, I'm like, shit, London is, I live here.
Yeah.
Like, this is incredible.
We are lucky. Welcome to episode number 6 of the Three Intrapreneur Podcast, where today we are going to be speaking about London. And if not London, where? Why is London London? And so on and so forth. But before I get to that, don't forget to pay the fee. The fee is if you've got something valuable from this podcast, if you learned something, if you found it funny, please like, share, comment on the podcast. And rate it 5 stars, of course. By the way, apologies if you hear any background noise. We're filming during the daytime today, so you might hear a siren or two or some construction. Apologies in advance. Right. Just to let you guys know, well, just to fill you in, we have been super busy. You might not have heard from us in a while, and that is because, do you want to tell them what we've been doing, what we've been up to, and like the plans we've got?
Yeah, we've got some really, really exciting things on the horizon. We're setting up some new social media handles, which will be for exclusive members only, invite only. We're going to be having, intimate dinners with people who find what we say interesting. So it will just be the 3 of us.
Can that be everybody?
That was a joke because no one finds it. And yeah, we've got some amazing guest speakers. So it's not just going to be the 3 of us. On the horizon, we've got some really good guest speakers lined up. So episode 7, 8, 9, 10 that we've got the dates all finalized for, which we're really excited about. We're gonna have some cool people that will be very interesting to listen to. So it's exciting.
Really exciting.
And we want to be giving back more, not just on this podcast, but as I said, having more intimate conversations with people and WhatsApp groups on an exclusive basis. So
giving back to the universe.
100%.
Giving back to the universe.
Yeah.
So it'll be good.
That's
why we've been busy.
Elon Musk, aren't we, for episode 10?
And then Mark Zuckerberg for number 11, talking about Threads versus Twitter.
We don't want to mix them
pushed
together.
it back a little bit.
Cool, that would be a great.
Have you heard about the fight?
Both.
Yeah.
They're going to
They've
fight.
got a fight, haven't they?
No, they haven't.
They're doing a UFC fight.
You're joking.
No,
it's a thing.
Elon Musk versus
This is the
Mark
2 most
Zuckerberg.
powerful men in the world.
UFC.
How have I not seen that?
UFC or boxing?
I think it's UFC.
That's pathetic.
Is it UFC?
They're
UFC.
saying now, I read it in the Financial Times the other day, it would be the most watched fight in the history of the world.
Mad how anyone can be like a boxer these days. Like,
I would say anyone that has access to the internet and or a TV would be watching that.
Of course.
Would
it's
pay
like
to
what you were
watch
saying
that.
last time about like is it Logan Paul who has
Yeah,
Prime?
and KSI.
Yeah, they you get
That
big
fight.
following and then they make a drink. These
Yeah.
guys have got a massive following.
What's
And they're gonna
Elon's
fight.
on 280 million followers or something on Twitter, or 300 million. Like,
That's insane.
These numbers are just
I wonder who would win.
Insane.
Who do you think? Who'd you back?
Elon.
Elon.
Come on, look at the size of him.
Yeah,
versus,
Elon. He's fat.
digressing.
Sorry.
Maybe we should do our own fight.
Maybe we should
Us
fight
three in the
another
world.
try and
estate
present
agency.
Last man
on the
standing.
fight. We should try and present the fight.
Maybe you should fight Daniel.
I should fight Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about if I put
You'd
us
have
three?
like 3 viewers though.
What about
Me,
us 3 in a
Oli.
ring? Last man standing, us 3 in a UFC ring.
Sorry, last man standing.
Yeah.
Us 3.
You do your kickboxing, so
Oh,
you probably
guys,
won.
I couldn't. No, I couldn't.
Couldn't
I
beat us
couldn't
up.
kill you.
Could kill you.
Okay,
Anyway,
one more thing as well. We're going to be hosting a dinner. We are chuffed, by the way, with the responses we've received.
Yeah.
We posted over the weekend, or I think on Friday last week, about how we want to be hosting a dinner for our listeners. It's an intimate dinner of maybe around 10 people. We've obviously had way more responses than that. And we'll be going through them. Excuse me. I just had a Nando's. We'll be going through them and DMing all of you about the details of that. It will be inexpensive in relation to what you'll be gaining. So it'll be a very good investment in terms of ROI for you. And you'll get a chance to spend hours with us and ask us any questions you'd like. There'll also be some networking before and after. and alcohol and 3 courses.
And us. And talking with us.
Oh, yes.
And picking our brains.
Yeah. Tips, hints, advice will be there.
And we can make friends. Networking friends.
Ooh,
Really
Daniel.
What was it? We had that one. Was it on when you took the call from Daniel?
Yeah,
That was
Daniel.
brilliant.
that was good. That was
Yeah.
good. But no, it's really exciting.
Good times.
There's going to be a lot
Good
coming
times.
So London.
Right, let's get to it. So that's my job. I'm the
Sorry.
host.
I can't say so
that's my
London.
job.
All
To the
right,
Okay.
Oh, Christ.
Ow.
Inexperience of this.
last man
Gotta get-
standing.
gotta
He
get
gets
back- yeah, I was
knocked out by
gonna
a
say, yeah.
speaker.
Alex got to get in the
How
ring first.
embarrassing.
I really hope they because it's like hit you in the nose. I want to see that in
This is
slow
not my
mo.
first
I think you
rodeo.
got blood coming.
Have I?
No, joking.
Scared
Okay,
me.
right, London.
Big weekend.
Sorry, go on.
That's his job.
London.
Right, London. Okay. Why is London London, and how did London get its status? I think everybody knows what I mean by that, as in global financial hub for the world, and so on and so forth. I don't think I need to go into that. Everyone's quite switched on who watches this or listens to this podcast.
I mean, I'd probably start by saying I think London is London in as far as being the global hub for real estate and many other things is, I think it's twofold. One, central language of the world, English. You know, it's a very well used language around the world. And the second thing is central time zone. So you could be, you know, in Dubai, you could be in Australia, and the UK is that central time zone between the two. So I think from that side, that's why London has been such a powerhouse. I mean, how it started, I'm not 100% sure, but I think we'll come onto it, and the reason why perhaps people are now investing elsewhere, which is, if not London, where? I think historically it's been very easy for people to bring money into London, into the UK, legitimately, but also illegitimately.
That's it.
In truth. And I think that's perhaps now why we're seeing, you know, some of the wealth be located elsewhere, you know, your Dubai, Turkey, Cyprus, where perhaps going back 20, 30 years, you know, the restrictions that they're having, which is very minimal in the UK, it's very difficult to bring funds over to the UK illegitimately. You can't. Compared to your Dubai's, where I know you could close a real estate transaction in a day, similar to Cyprus, similar to Turkey. And obviously with what's going on, without pinpointing Russia, for example, but we all know that Russians have bought an awful lot of real estate over the last 20, 30 years in London. And now because of what's happened with the war and sanctions and those sort of things, moving money has become very difficult. Moving Russian money to Dubai, to Cyprus, to Turkey is possible. So I think that
we were actually at a Spears 500 live event, weren't we?
It was fascinating, yeah.
Yeah, and we heard Bill Browder, and I forgot the gentleman's first name.
The lawyer, Robert Amsterdam. Okay, I always remember the surname. But they were very interesting, weren't they? Because Mr. Amsterdam was very pro-Russian people. I think Bill was more, if you're Russian and have money, you've got it illegitimately. Yeah, well, look,
that's
I mean,
what he said. His words, not mine.
It was interesting that Bill Browder was saying that anyone from Russia that has made their wealth in Russia has made their wealth through being an ally of Putin.
Correct. That's what he said.
With Robert Amsterdam, he was saying that's not the case. And also it's very difficult to paint every single Russian with the same brush, which isn't right, he was saying. I mean, it was a shame that Robert Amsterdam, with his view, was the first speaker, and Bill Browder was, with his views, the last speaker. It would have been great to have seen them perhaps on the stage together. And they actually know each other.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah, I mean, it would
have been like a Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk.
Yeah, so I think that's, you know, probably where, in truth, a lot of it stems from, that the UK has allowed legitimate and illegitimate money. Well, I say allowed, there's been ways that you can bring money in, and it's helped.
Benji makes a very valid point.
Yeah.
And I think I'd like to take the mic for a second and just build upon what you've just said. There's a really good documentary on Netflix called The Spider's Web. If you haven't watched it, I would implore you to watch it. It's fascinating, and it is really what it's the world Benji, Oli, and I are in terms of. Let's just go back, right? I'm going to break this down for you as easy as I can. So my thought process on why London is London, and a lot of it comes from this documentary, which is very on point, and that is that years ago, as Benji says, London did encourage a lot of illegitimate money into London or into the UK via London, and if we go even further back, and this touches upon your point of English speaking, where English speaking a lot of the world is, and that's because of the British, what do you call it, colonization?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So they didn't make, but they, a lot of the world speak English because of that reason, correct? That's right?
Yep.
So that obviously helps, and that is because of the colonization. Now, I don't know what, 15, 20 years ago, when people started to get their independence back, I think Barbados got their independence very recently, I think a couple of years ago actually, around Christmas time. I think Britain were like, shit, we're actually a very small island in comparison to like Russia, China, Brazil, India, America. We need to do something here. And so what they did was they encouraged a lot of wealth into the UK via property and then mortgages, of course, and of course banks on the back of real estate deals, because people were getting mortgages, which means banks are earning money on the interest, and X, Y, Z. So that blew up London. I think that's why London became London. It attracted a lot of wealth into the capital, and that means that the top 1% were here, and they were spending money in Zuma, in Nobu, in Harrods, in Selfridges, and propping up our economy. They'd have drivers be giving a lot of jobs away with maids, butlers, and whatever. And then I think it spiraled from there. Now, like Mr. Amsterdam said at Spears 500 Live, there really is a war on wealth. And he said, well done for making it out of the trenches to this event. And I really do empathize, I think is the word, with that. Being someone who's self-employed, taxes going up for us on corporation taxes going up to 25%, which is insane. Oli Ingalls and I were having a conversation this morning that we are going to be close to paying about maybe 65% tax if you could take into account corporation plus your income tax and the VAT you're paying at 20% on everything else as well, which is insane. And I can see why a lot of our clients have moved to places like Dubai, and are now considering other places. So I know I rambled for a long time there, but that's my view on why London is London.
It's really interesting. All your points are really valid, and I think also we've got a fantastic educational system, obviously here in London. Transport links as well.
That's a very good point too. There's a lot of students that come over, isn't there?
Massively. So it really is a hub for international students, for their parents wanting them to come over to our economy and learn. And because we have now attracted the best minds in the globe to London, so it's an attraction. But it's interesting what you're saying about taxes. Obviously, we all know about stamp duty and how much some of our clients are paying, up to 17% stamp duty if they're
on a £20 million property
overseas, foreign.
But that's on money that they've earned that's already
they've already paid the tax.
Correct.
And it's interesting, like we say, we go into Dubai where almost see Dubai is like the London of what we used to be, where they're now marketing the hell out of themselves. They've opened up their doors to anybody. Like you said, getting money into those countries now can be a lot easier than the AML and the KYC that we have to go through here. And now they're having people pour in. It's low tax, 4% to buy property as well on the tax side, no income tax, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, oh my God, this is the place to be. And we were kind of like that. We opened up our doors and we built our wealth as a country and as a city. And then we kind of started to implement more tax and so on and so on. And that's how I personally see Dubai might go in the future. But it's obvious that people are now starting to invest their money in other countries as well.
With the Dubai situation, they're flying over teachers from the UK, paying for accommodation, paying good salaries. So they're going to have great education there. They've got the infrastructure is there. Safety. I mean, I've got clients, we've spoken about this at length before, clients that have cars and watches that they would never dream of, wearing a beautiful watch in the streets of London, but in Dubai, happily, wearing whatever they want, not even locking the doors because, the laws is so strict that if you do one thing, you're away, you're in prison.
Yeah.
You have to be there having a job. If not, I don't believe you can get a visa or you can stay there.
Correct.
So what they're creating there is this utopian world.
Yeah.
But I think, as you rightly said, they're attracting all of these perhaps nouveau riche, you're not going to maybe have old school money there because, they know what they know and they like what they like. Whereas I think it's attracting a new wealth.
Yeah.
And I also think, part of it is, as you rightly said, perhaps London was propped up on, dare I say, dirty money. Now London as the hub of that has been blocked and you can't, the AML restrictions from, the estate agent to the lawyer to the bank. There's so many layers now that to get illegitimate funds here is impossible.
Yeah.
But it's relatively easy in Dubai. So I think it's a mixture of both.
It's a mixture.
You've got this amazing lifestyle, amazing weather, safety, security, but then also at the same time, there's lots of money coming in that isn't able to go elsewhere. That what's going to happen when that dries up? When they're building 120 apartments and they sell like that, you have brokers that are doing 30 deals in one development, making £1 million in commission. A lot of agents are going there and cleaning up. How long is it going to last? And with London, going back to if not London, where else? I think London will always be, even if you stop that. I sometimes forget how amazing London is, how fortunate I am that I live in London. I'll go to other cities around the world and I'll be like, that was amazing. And then I come back to London, I'm like, shit, London is, I live here. Like, this is incredible.
We are lucky.
We're so lucky. So I think there's always going to be a demand to bring people. We've got a great NHS system. We've got a great schooling system. Fine, there's flaws, but there's going to be flaws with certain things in every country. I think the Dubai situation is temporary.
I mean, for me as well, if we're talking about from a real estate aspect, London has always been so resilient. Whenever we've had a poor market, and some would argue that we're in a slightly harder market with interest rates and everything at the moment, we bounce back so well. Political uncertainty, we bounce back. Rarely do you find in the city here, you'll have a quick 15-20% drop in house prices. It fluctuates up and down so much as it can in some. I was talking to a client from Hong Kong with the political uncertainty. He said some of these places are worth 50% less now.
Wow! And
they want to get their money out in Hong Kong. And this is major cities. Whereas UK, they very much see, and I very much believe it's a safe investment. You're never gonna sweat an asset and get 15% rental yields. You don't buy in London for rental yield, but you buy in London for longer term capital growth and a safe investment, lower void periods. There's a high demand to people wanting to live here. And when we do, as I say, go through these economic uncertainties and periods of hardship, of interest rates or whatever it may be, COVID, I mean, look how quickly we bounced from COVID. When I think we were all the first ones on the streets reading the papers going 25% drop in house prices.
Absolutely.
And within 6 months, it was
less.
We surpassed what it was prior to COVID.
And
not many cities do that though. Not many cities people gravitate towards. But I wanted to put a question because obviously, Alex, you've had done a lot more research on the Dubai marketplace, and obviously we've got our thoughts and whatnot. What's your opinion on the Dubai marketplace?
I ask the questions.
Sorry.
No,
because you've got some really good thought, and I mean, we've spoken at length about it for weeks and months now.
We have. My thoughts. I was actually just at lunch. I was in Nando's with an intern of ours, and she thinks that Dubai is a bubble. And a lot of people have said this to me, and I think actually there's been a correction. I think it was cheap on a global perspective, and it's actually being realised now by the world. Sorry.
Did you have Nando's at lunch?
That was the Nando's.
Third time you've said that.
Keep plugging it
on me.
Sponsored by Nando's.
I think it's cheap still. Let me ask you a question. Where else in the world can you buy a property, house, freehold, on a private road with a barrier and a security man, security guard, and there'd be like 0.1% crime? I don't know the exact figure. I think it's something around that. And you have a swimming pool and your own private beach with good weather all year round, maybe 3 months, but that's because it's too hot, not because it's so cold or rainy, for £2,000 a square foot.
Where are you saying? Where in the
Where
world?
in the world?
Well, I assume you're obviously going to say Dubai, but okay, let me flip it round.
Tax-free as well.
Okay, let me flip it round. You like? I'm going on a whim here. You like boxing, right? You like boxing.
Yeah.
Let's say you were a high net worth individual.
Yeah.
And there was a plot of a massive desert in somewhere that was 8 hours away from London, where you lived. 8 hours away. And there was a whole redevelopment, regeneration. You could go and buy a 10,000 square foot home with a massive boxing studio, everything set up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you can buy it for what is it in Dubai? $2,500 a square foot.
Yeah, like
which is significantly cheaper than London. Just because you can, does that mean you're going to? I get what you're saying. You know, if you have the equivalent in London, it's going to be double or triple. But I don't want to live in Dubai.
That's you.
That's me. And I think it's probably, it's 8 hours away from where I am. You know, even if they had it 4 hours away or in another country that I went to frequently, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm just going to go and do it. And that's why I think
subjective,
it's
isn't it?
Subjective, yeah. But I mean, are many people doing that?
Yeah. They are, which is why prices have increased 150%.
As I said, going back to it, and I need to choose my words carefully.
Please do.
I think it is heavily propped up by funds that are moving to Dubai that can't go elsewhere.
Okay.
And I have quite a strong view on that.
Yeah, that's actually quite a valid point. Like, you're not wrong.
So would you want to go and live in Dubai for the next 10 years, have kids there, put your kids through the education system?
I actually would. It's very interesting. So I went there a couple of months ago, as you both know, for about 5 days. And it was purely work, like no pleasure whatsoever. And I
That's
met...
not what you told me.
My fiance watches this. He's joking, Harriet. Ignore. Thank God she doesn't watch this. She's not a fan. Where was I going with this?
You actually would go there.
Yeah.
You went there for 5 days, business only.
I actually would. I met agents, developers. I found out what was going on there. And it's just insane. I think that's a topic for another day, to be honest. But I wanted to ask you one question, just to finish that point.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned that money has gone there, that can't really go elsewhere. But do you think that's going to change?
Yeah.
Do you think it will come back out then?
Look, I think we did it to an extent as well when we opened up our doors almost, and we were openly inviting money, black money, or dirty money, whatever you call it, from from anywhere. And that's what built our economy. That's what they're doing. They are. That's what they're doing very well, though. They're marketing their country. They're saying, look, our doors are open to anybody that wants to buy here. And they're having people like yourself. Right now, they've marketed it really well to you because they've sold you the tax-free, what I would like to know from an economic, and I'd love to see what the data behind it is, the medical industry there. Do you have to pay for that like you do in America?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got to pay for that. So like we're here, we get the NHS.
Sometimes your employer would pay for insurance.
Part of our tax and stuff pays for the NHS. And if we need an ambulance now, we can call them and they'll deal with it.
Will they actually come now though?
They're good.
2 hours.
But you go to America and you pay, and then suddenly you have God forbid you have an emergency or something like that. And you've got to pay a hell of a lot of money. So there are different factors. Like what do you get more, the council tax when we have like roads. Who's that owned by? Is that the local, is that the owners on the street? Do they pay for that? So there's lots of things which it sounds all rosy on the outside of it's a lot more money in our pocket, but it's the same in America. It's the same in America.
Sorry.
So I think it will. I think it will. It's going to close and it's going to go. Then they'll put taxes up to make money from
exactly that. And it's what they've done here.
Yeah.
They've got people in, locked people in, and now taxes are where they are. At some point, think about it. If there's what's the population of Dubai? I don't know.
I forgot.
10 million?
Yeah.
15 million? Let's just say round number 10 million people. Think about it. If the government turn around and say you're going to be charged 5% tax on your income, which is relatively low, but that's millions and millions and millions of revenue for, and don't get me wrong, they have a lot of money from oil and those sort of things, but it will change. They get everyone in, you ring fence them, and then once they need what you've got, then you can start changing things. 100%. And then there'll be another place that pops up.
Yeah.
There'll
But
be
just
another.
quickly, also, I think that we need to give one little quick tip of advice for people who are looking to invest there, because there are a lot of cowboys, advisors, estate agents out there now on all over Instagram saying, hey, come and buy this for X, Y, and Z. The yields are great, and they're just trying to sell your product, which might ultimately depreciate value very quickly. Dubai can be a very good place for investment, but you have to buy in the right place. So when we say about here in London, where someone wants to maybe buy like a new build for investment, you have to choose the building very smart, correctly. You've got to make sure the neighborhood's good. Even each block, each apartment within that building, what way is it facing? What does the floor plate look like? How many floors up? How many floors down? The waiting time for an elevator. You don't just go and buy within a building now. You can be smart within your acquisition within that development. So if you are looking to invest in Dubai, find people, hopefully like us, who you trust in this real estate game, who can give you honest opinions on where you should buy. Do you buy on the coast? Because you're always going to have the views, and that's never going to change. Whereas you can buy somewhere now inland, and literally in probably 10 years, you've got people 360 around you. So just be smart with your investment.
That's a good point. 3.6 million. Nice.
3.6 million.
million.
So I was wildly wrong.
Sorry,
That's not a lot.
That's not a lot at all.
That's not a lot. It's smaller than London.
We're 60 million here, aren't we?
Well, I was
Roughly.
okay, fine.
Anyway.
Just 3.6.
Just quick question. Am I right in thinking that prices in London haven't increased over the last 10 years?
Well,
And if that's correct, does that mean
10
you're
years
actually
ago.
losing money
2013.
because of inflation?
No, we've gone up since 2000. I mean, as you can
Well, it went
imagine,
up
with any
15.
markets, we're like...
2013, I think, was the height of the market.
When?
Yeah.
2013.
it
Yeah,
was.
13,
I
14.
think we're like 3 or 4% underneath.
It was
that at the
13,
moment.
14. Then in 15, they introduced the
So we're onto
additional
that.
3% stamp
So
duty.
really, if you bought 10 years ago, you've lost money.
I don't know. No, because I think it went 13, 14, 15 went really high. Then 15, they brought in the stamp duty, so it dropped a bit. Then 2018, 2019, it started to bounce a little bit. Then there was COVID, and there was a bit of a dip. And then COVID was a massive push up. And now 2022, 23, we're seeing it dip a bit. So I'd say from where 2022 starting to dip to 2023 is probably, it's higher than 2013, I'd say. If someone bought in 2013 and they're looking at selling now, they've made money.
But also, don't forget, there's so many micro markets in London.
Yeah,
it's very hard to say across a global percentage.
We were talking about that before.
I mean, even now in a dipping marketplace, when we see best-in-class assets, like we're lucky, to go and see every single week. Some best-in-class assets on the best roads are still selling for more than they were 4 weeks ago, a couple of months ago. It's because they're best in class. So only certain market, it's hard to
like
proportion
Soho
that
and Mayfair,
marketplace, to that. You have to look at each market as a specific price point, neighborhood wise.
Yeah.
And also like Birmingham compared to London. I always you read in the newspaper, but house prices have dropped 3.45% or something like that. You can't base UK base on an average.
And also the data points they've got, they have a massive lag because they get their completion from the land registry, which historically has been a 3-month delay, which now post-COVID is 4, 5, 6 months delay.
Yeah.
So the data points that they're using.
behind.
So for example, at the moment they're saying how 10 million plus transactions in London are at all-time high.
Yeah.
But what they're not realizing is that a large percentage of those transactions are new build developments where contracts were exchanged 3 or 4 years ago.
Exactly.
Completion is taking place now, and they're funneling through into the data points.
Correct. Yeah.
So all the data that we see and you read on the newspaper, it's
tainted.
But in answer to your question, I would believe if someone bought in 2013 and wants to sell now, they've made money.
Cool. What's the average yield in London?
Average yield in London. I mean, again, this is probably reduced over the past couple of years or so. Between 2.5% and 3%, I would say, is probably the average yield.
I was going to say between 2 and 2.5. But it's more, I think in London, the investment play is the capital appreciation.
Yeah.
We were talking about this before on our viewings. You've got a friend who has a portfolio up in Middlesbrough where they're getting 24%.
Yeah.
HMOs. When I was in
24%.
Birmingham, student accommodation, they're getting 14, 15%. Now, this isn't an asset that you're buying that's distressed and it stands out. Like, that's just normal.
Yeah.
Here it's 2.5%, 3%. If you think about it, if you're making 2.5%, 3% yield on the rental income, but your mortgage is 6%, it's costing you money. factoring in all the stamp duty, the second, so we're talking about London. We're on a very thin bit of ice here because we're making it extremely unattractive for people to put their money into London. Extremely unattractive. It's getting.
It's hard.
I agree. Do you think Sadiq Khan has had a bit of an effect on that?
He's killing London.
Yeah. This is what doesn't make sense to me, because basically you have a Labour mayor in a Conservative government. It's a bit contradictory.
Yeah.
And he's making London you're right, Benji. He has killed the traffic.
I mean,
the opposite. He's made the traffic worse.
Yeah, I mean, roadblock here, roadblock there. The lack cycle lanes, bus lanes, the lack of parking, that you have to have residence parking, congestion charge, the cost to come in. They want to push people out of zone. They want to make it difficult to drive in, and they want to push people out to zones 2, zones 3, and spread the love further out.
He's also trying to encourage people to use public transport, to make driving so hard and so expensive that people use public transport.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, but the reason London and the UK is London is because of what we just spoke about.
Yeah.
I can't see our clients who are in chauffeur-driven cars or Uber Luxes and execs riding a bike with their £20,000 watch when crime's so high.
Because you can't control it.
He thinks it's going to become Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And this is another thing that I think is pushing people away. Like, the crime's ridiculous, and these people are not even going to drive themselves. That's the thing. By the time they drive from like Chelsea to, for instance, Chiltern Firehouse for a meeting, that can take half an hour in current traffic, which is ridiculous. It's like, I don't know, 1.5 miles, 2 miles, and it takes you half an hour. If they drive, which means they can't be on their phone and working and sending emails in that time, they could lose, I don't know, maybe $1 million. If they're worth like 500 million and earning God knows how much per annum, and these are the sort of people that are buying properties from us, they're not going to sit in traffic and not work. They're going to be in a driven car, and if it's taking half an hour to get around, they're just not going to be in London anymore. He's driving these people out.
But don't forget the other thing with London is, and we it seems to be like we're really painting it in a bit of a bad context. Like you said,
if you still want to buy here, though,
but like you said, like, we love London. You can go out this evening. You can go to the theatre. You can go to some fantastic restaurants. But you can have walks in parks. You can go. There's so much on our doorstep.
That's something you can't do in Dubai. Is go out for a walk.
Do you know what I mean?
Agreed.
This is an amazing attraction.
Agreed. However, they are the points we're valid. The points that we've said are still valid.
Yeah.
Also Westminster. They're not allowing new developments to be single units. I think it's over 2,000 or 2,200 square foot.
Yeah.
What family can live in 2,200 square foot? You can't. That's a 3-bedroom at a push. They don't want families. They don't want to make it. They're just making it difficult. They're making it difficult. And, I think money will therefore go elsewhere. And, the question is, obviously, we've spoken a lot about Dubai, but I think there'll be other places that come on the map that are seen as other safe havens, other European cities, Monaco. And
we've kind of seen that via people moving out from like zone 1 to zone 2. You look at places like we've just been to, like Hampstead and Primrose Hill, and some of those areas have just gone crazy because you can get the bigger houses, family houses with a garden, for a price which is less than what zone 1 was at the time. And even those those prices have had a mass increase, 15% probably on average, haven't they, over the last kind of year or two. But it's interesting. Another thing that I wanted to talk quickly about was branded residences.
Okay.
I read a report the other day where I think over the next 5 years there's only been about 40,000 branded residences being built. I think I was.
Do you
want to explain what a branded residence is to those who are watching? And for Alex.
So branded residences. Just give you an example. For example, Lamborghini have teamed up with a developer in Marbella and are building a development.
And if you want to buy there, call me.
Yeah, I mean, we do know the developer.
Such a salesman.
Meeting him on the Thursday.
07703.
So, which is really interesting to me because when you look at for the Whiteley again, also for example.
And so, is it called the Lamborghini Residences?
I don't think it's called
the logo.
Is it called the actual? I don't know what the actual
development
is.
Yeah, and the Bugatti Residences.
But they're all
like
it's branded.
Right.
Yeah.
And funny enough, when I was at the Whiteley...
I think when Benji said to explain the branded thing, he actually meant it himself.
Oh, sorry.
Like the Whiteley.
The other thing that was really interesting to me the other day was I was at the Whiteley, which is a development obviously in Bayswater, their summer party. Okay, and I was speaking to the head of marketing there, really fascinating lady. And obviously the Whiteley, the developer, is teamed up with the Four Seasons. Okay.
This is happening more.
So she told me she thinks that they've nearly had 20% of purchasers come via the Four Seasons, as in people who are committed to that brand, almost.
So not via an agent.
Wherever they would go, for example, wherever they go on holiday, they would stay at the Four Seasons.
Yeah,
that's the place that you always go to.
Yeah,
and that's obviously a massive, fantastic impact on that development because they've sold like nearly 20%, via ambassadors of their brand.
Yeah.
And so when you perceive the quality of Lamborghini to have the quality of what you expect in the car into the development game, you think the best of the best.
Yeah.
And so when they're only doing 40,000 units over a 5-year period is not much.
I think
not
the
much
actual
at all.
Countertop of the kitchen's actually made out like the bonnet of a Lamborghini as well.
Wicked.
Or the front bumper.
That's cool.
The way it kind of goes like
it's
that.
Cool.
He's very cool. I was with the developer last week and I'm seeing them again on Thursday. You should come with.
Yeah.
Oh, you're away.
I'm away.
It's really. I saw something on the reason I was just getting my phone out. I saw something on Threads.
Yeah.
About branded residences from Sam Palmer. Just came across my timeline. It said just writing.
No shout outs, please, unless they pay.
But what I'm saying is, boys, is that 40,000 units is not that many over the next 5 years. I feel a place to invest, and we were talking about where to, maybe if not London, where to invest. I think people should look at these branded residences because I think that market's going to grow, and I think more people then be attracted to branded residences. And if you get in early enough with anything, like we all know, the value goes up.
True.
The one thing that on the flip side, you have to make sure that with these branded residences, like that brand is in it long term. Like for a developer, for some developers, they'll get there. Once they've sold the building, it's done. On to the next, we don't care. But with that, you want to make sure that Lamborghini are accountable. And I'm sure they are because it's going to be their brand and their name on the top of the building. But that the service is going to be there all the time and what you get, and they're in it long term.
So let me know when VW make a branded residence.
And Fiat, thanks.
But no, for me, that's something to look out for. I think that's something to look out for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I'm conscious you've got a £40 million viewing in Holland Park.
45.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
45. With your numbers when you're in the
so
prime
you've got to leave in
marketplace.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump to the Q&A. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
As hosts, I'm going to just,
You need to get permission.
Right. These are questions from me. By the way, going forward, so that and the boys don't have to remember to post it on their Instagram. If you have a question you want to ask us, just email alex@ddre.global or benji@ddre.global, or is it Oliver or Oli? Oliver. There's two Olivers here.
Yeah, Oliver.
Oliver@ddre.global.
Oliver.ingles@ddre.global.
I just said that.
Sorry, I was like this.
Oliver.ingles@ddre.
Oliver.ingles@ddre.
Or our
England.
Instagrams.
Yeah.
Or they can message us.
Yeah,
Oliver.
or DM us your questions, and we will answer them in this Q&A at the end of the podcast. Yeah. Right, question number 1. Alcohol. We all like a drink now and then. Do you find that it affects your work? I've noticed a lot of people. The reason I ask, I noticed a lot of people there's a lot of chat about sobriety, giving up alcohol, and it not really becoming as cool as it once was. What do you think? Do you agree with that? It's all over TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think in a way, I think we're all kind of like athletes and sportsmen now. When you're at this level, the marketplace, and I know this is going to seem like what you're talking about. You're not a professional footballer, but to us, like when you're I feel like my career, I have to be at the peak. You have to be mentally switched on. You have to have the energy for it. You have to have everything working in the most optimum way to get the best results. So you now have to look after your body.
Because I box,
if you're doing that.
Benji's a semi-pro footballer and you are a darts player?
What was the darts player? he
What
throws
do you
his
know again?
kid on the sofa and stuff.
Yeah, but I think you have to, don't you?
What was the question? Just
alcohol.
repeat the question.
Yeah, sorry, it was the alcohol.
Oh, I'm sorry.
To it.
Sorry,
Just repeat
Benji's
that
back in the
one
room. Oh god.
It's on your phone. Just look on your phone.
Yeah.
No, alcohol. Do you think it affects your work negatively?
So I would flip it round and say, would you turn up to an interview hungover? The answer would be no. Every day for us.
You always use this interview analogy.
What can I say? Pitch.
No, not even a pitch.
Anything.
Going to a restaurant, going to your local coffee place, you could bump into anyone. We
True.
always have to be 110% on our game. And if we're not, we could miss an opportunity.
Yep.
And as self-employed people, that opportunity is thousands of pounds.
Yep.
So I think, yes, of course, it impacts how you act, how lethargic you are, how on it you are. So yes, I think,
That's true though, yeah. I mean, for me, what I personally do is now, and I'm obviously not a big drinker whatsoever, but I went to the tennis obviously on Friday, Wimbledon. Met a few
absolutely smashed.
Met a few friends from up north I've known for many years, and I kind of knew that. Look,
So
we're going to have
northern.
Huh?
You are northern
I'm not
then.
northern. No, they're from up north, Middlesbrough.
Oh,
If you're
how do you have friends in Middlesbrough then?
Long story. Long story.
A couple of beers later.
Anyway, I knew, look, we're going to have some Pims, we're going to have some champagne, we're going to have a few drinks. But for me, I knew Saturday, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to book myself in that day to do anything.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be probably a little bit more hungover than I would be.
Then you're going to have a burger.
And so then I don't book appointments for that day.
Mm.
But there's a
Balance.
difference between... Yeah, balance.
Balance.
That's exactly that. There's a
One
difference
pint
between...
of beer, 1 pint of water.
Yeah. Well, no, but having a night out, having a night out and drinking 3-4 times a week. If you find yourself, you're at the pub at 7 p.m, like 4 or 5 times a week, I'd be seriously looking at the mirror, Alex.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry.
Does that sound familiar?
Hey, not me. I'm asking for a friend.
It does.
Yeah.
Of course it does. You have to look after your body and your mind.
Yeah.
Next question.
Next question.
Other Oli.
Don't drink, kids. It's not good for you.
Yeah. Sponsored by Budweiser.
Yeah. Alcohol free.
Okay, so there you have it from Benji and Oli Ingalls themselves. Do not drink any alcohol ever. Now, AI, will it replace us or will it enhance us?
Wow.
So let me just
I
ask,
mean,
ask ChatGPT.
This for me could be like a whole I think this could be a whole topic because I'm so frigging passionate about AI.
We could do it in on the next episode.
In a nutshell.
I think we should make it in the next episode because
Okay.
I could honestly talk half an hour. I mean, I'm a massive
But
pro.
in a
we should-
nutshell.
Wow, he's
in
really
a nutshell, 100% yes.
passionate.
If you don't get on it now, you'll fall behind very quickly.
But how do you
Gonna
get on
ma-
it, like as a business person? What do you mean by get on it?
Read.
I think learn about it. Go on ChatGPT,
test,
learn about
explore.
plugins, explore, look online, meet people who are in AI. Go on, and just throw yourself in at the deep end.
Okay.
100% it will enhance you.
Yeah.
And if you
I
don't
think
do
it
you're
enhanced
gonna-
agents like you and I, but Benji might be replaced by it. Door opener, call answerer, emailer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, emailer, I think anything that you do, anything that you have in your day that you repeat more than 5-10 times, you'll have AI that will be able to automate it. I think AI will never be able to do this.
Yeah.
The personal element of things, AI might be able to edit it and might be able to take Dan out the room.
No, we won't do Dan.
Yeah, actually, we do use AI to edit this.
AI might be
so-
able to do a lot of that. So I think in answer to the question, yes, I think AI will change an awful lot, but I think it will be the people who adopt it will be empowered.
Yes.
The people who are afraid of it and won't embrace it will get left behind, as you said.
100%
But I
massively.
definitely think that's a topic for...
distribution of data.
Maybe on the next episode we can talk about AI then.
I think we should.
Sure.
We talk about it all day long.
Could do 2 topics. We could do like half an hour AI, half an hour something else. Okay, we'll
good.
let you know. We'll let you
Sounds
know.
good.
All right. Last question. You ready for this one?
Go on, Em.
You don't know this question.
Oh,
God, here we
It came to me mid-podcast.
We
so
don't
I
know
did
the
it.
other questions as well. I mean, that was
It's
new
got,
to me.
Didn't
it's got to be a good question now. I mean...
Right, you ready?
Yeah, go on.
Threads or Twitter?
Look, for me, quickly, I don't really use Twitter. I've not really been an advocate.
And
for
that's the
Twitter
end of the
for many
question.
years. Threads.
Thanks for listening to episode 6.
Look, actually, no. I read the Financial Times on Saturday. Okay, it said that it took Threads 40 minutes. I think
Threads?
It 40. It was either 40 minutes or 4 hours.
Threads.
No, listen. Threads.
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 You're saying
Threads.
Fred. How do you say Fred?
I thought you were going to say like your mate Fred. Fred's. It's Fred's.
That's like a nice restaurant, like a
Fred.
members club.
Fred.
Freddy.
Threads.
Threads.
Threads. I've actually got a London accent and I say
Threads.
F a lot for TH, but you proper went for Fred. I was like, Fred's.
Right, listen.
I was
Just listen
waiting
to
for,
the
like-
stat. Listen to the stat.
Sorry.
It took.
Threads.
Yeah. I think it was 4 hours to get 7 million subscribers, whereas it took, I think it was Facebook, 260 days to get 7 million.
Yeah, but that's because everyone's got Instagram already, and you get notified and pushed to get Threads.
7 million in 4 hours.
That's
man.
insane.
It's not the same.
And that was
That's
4
not
hours.
growing
God knows what
organically,
it's going to do
though.
now. It's going to be Threads. It's going to take
Do you
over.
think people should be on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think.
Our listeners?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah? Why?
In answer to the question,
Sorry, you go first and I'll ask you why.
In answer to the question, I think Threads has, seen to so far eradicate any negativity from what I've seen on my feed. It's nothing political. It's nothing rude. It's nothing nasty, which is one of the massive drawbacks of Twitter. Whatever it's called, Threads, Twitter, Schmitter, whatever it is, it's another platform. Whatever the next, because there's going to be another one that comes out, right? There's going to be a new one in 6 months. Whatever comes out, I think we all have to adopt it. It's another place.
How many can we adopt? Did you see my meme that I posted the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. Look, I think if you've got 7 million people signing up in one day, it's a place you want to be, right? It's
100%.
people are talking about it.
Yeah.
It's a place that we can put content out, and we're content marketers, distributors.
Yeah.
So it's another place that I can post my properties. I can show a human side to me. So in answer to the question, I think Threads is better because it's just new and it's interesting. But whatever it is, we have to adopt it.
Yeah.
Because if we're not on it, our competitors are,
Yeah.
and they're posting and they're getting market share.
Yeah. The other one that I joined last night, which I started, YouTube Shorts.
I've got YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
It's getting bigger.
Yeah, it is.
What she
But
said.
anyway, this is for the next one. AI, and we can talk about the platforms a bit more, the different handles.
What do you prefer?
I think Threads.
Yeah.
Threads.
Why?
Threads.
I don't know, I just...
You're just a sheep, aren't you? Just
I'm
follow.
Yeah, man. Whatever Daniel does, I do. That's Benji. I've really gone in on you today, haven't I?
It's okay. I've
It's
got
okay.
thick skin.
You have. You're quite thick. Skinned. Why? Why Threads?
We'll go into it next time. This
The
could be how we
UX,
start
I think,
next
is just
one.
better. It's easier to consume.
Yeah.
You've got a For You page, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
It's very easy
In a
to
way.
use, I've found.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's just
That's what I
like
just said,
the,
UX.
yeah, the user face is.
Yeah, it looks cool.
UX means user experience.
Yeah,
Just
thanks.
so you know.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, shall we wrap up?
I think we've...
Wrap up.
Let's
yeah.
wrap. Let's wrap
Let's
it.
call it a wrap. And
Let's
thank
wrap
you.
it.
To the jingle!
Wait, let's do something. So like Stephen Bartlett finishes his on like a question for the next person.
Okay.
Let's sorry, the next one we're interviewing someone. We won't say who.
Yeah.
We've
Is
got a
that
guest.
confirmed for the next one?
It's confirmed.
Yeah.
6th
So
of July.
Start with the question.
Oh.
Oh, do you know what, mate? We've got to go live today as well. Cut that. We're going to be interviewing someone who, we won't say who. It's a surprise. And
Question.
tell us a question we can ask that person.
Well, the one thing I will say, so we can get a really nice snippet, the person who is coming on, you will be fascinated to listen to and watch. We are going to absolutely grill this person.
It's not me.
We're going to grill this person. We've given them the heads up. We're
Yeah.
going to get things out of them that people have never heard before,
Yeah.
and you will really enjoy it. So in answer to the question, what question should we ask them?
Yeah, let's
Should we
get...
start
Okay.
it with something
Yeah, let's go for it.
hard?
I think if I ask the question, which I'm thinking of, it will give away who it is.
I've got a question. We can start the next one.
Yeah.
It's gone out of my mind.
Have a think. We've got time. Dan can cut it.
Huh?
Dan can cut the time.
You're not going to cut this. You're going to keep it rolling.
Keep rolling.
When you have no one to confide in your darkest moments, what do you do?
Oh,
And that has like a few nuances
it
around it.
does, yeah.
Okay.
Are you lonely?
Okay. I'm going to leave the podcast on a quote. If you want to be my lover, you've got to be my friend. No, I'm joking.
Is that Spice Girls?
Yeah, I'm just joking.
Where can we find us?
You can find us at number 4 Devonshire Street in Marylebone. Wait, is that what you meant?
No! On Instagram, how we always...
Yeah.
You can find me in Dubai, baby.
You can.
4% commission.
You can find me on Instagram at benji.weinberger.
He's almost at 500 followers, so please,
6,500, nearly at 7,000, but thanks.
Oliver.
You can find me at oliver.ingles.
You can find me at Alex_Evagora. I still say you should both put underscores so we're consistent in our
And Alex
marketing.
has 7,000 bought followers.
Yeah.
They're not bought.
6,000
I
bots.
swear. Okay,
Cool.
that brings us to the end of episode 6. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you on the next one, episode 7, where we are interviewing our first ever secret guest.
It's a good one.
Oh yeah. To the jingle.